Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to HeCsUsAll YouTube channel. Tonight, I have a combination of things for you guys. I told you guys last week we were going to talk about AI, so I kind of wanted to stay in that direction. Give me a second. I know why my lighting's messed up. Okay, maybe that's a little better. All right. So, I want to still talk about Elon Musk and AI. I still have that planned for us, but I've been watching, I'm sure. Oh no, I lost that one. I'm sure some of you have come across this yourselves recently. The sheep in China that were walking in a circle. Now, I was watching that for quite some time because I wanted to see how long they would do it. I wanted to see how many would do it. I had so many questions. So I have an article pulled up from when it was very first happening and what they thought could be happening. Sorry, I'm guessing you guys could hear that. Maybe you can't. Let's see here. Sorry, I don't always have all my ducks in a row. And here we go. But, oh, okay. So, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Give the video a like. Let's try to get at least my subscribers to see that I'm back. I get comments all the time saying, like, I didn't even know you were back. People say that they would periodically check, and that's how they found me again. So, hoping to kick up the algorithm a little bit again. But so I wanted to keep an eye on these sheep, right? They were walking in a circle in China, and there's a few interesting things that I wanted to point out. Lately, we've been talking about signs and the signs that God would send to us before something catastrophic is to come. And God's people, the chosen ones, shall we say, will be saved. But we have to literally give ourselves up to God. We have to lay ourselves down at his mercy. Um, so I want to get this going with you guys here. I just want to do the couple articles here. And then we're going to get into the Elon Musk stuff. I know they seem like they're two completely different things, but truly, excuse me, they're not. They kind of line up. They line up a lot actually, because all these things are happening all at once, and it's all happening now. So as I said, subscribe if you're not by some chance. So this is the first article that I had come across back when it was first going on. I was going to make a video and then I was hesitant. I wanted to see what was going to come of it, right? Like I wanted to see if they figured out they had some kind of disease. I wanted to see how many days this would happen. I wanted to see how many sheep were going to join in. I had so many questions and I wanted to watch the story develop, and I'm so glad I did, because some of the information that came out, to me, once again, here we are with yet another sign, right? So, the massive flock of sheep walking in a circle for 12 days straight in China. 12 days. These sheep have been walking in a circle. So this might not have been the first article. The first article I might have for you second. So there was a video that they had here, right? But you can't get the video here anymore. I have the video for you guys. But for some reason it was removed from here. And in the article that I had from prior, the one I'm going to show you next, that article had the video embedded in it. And then now the video that's embedded in it, I have that video too, but is a video that's not even from China. It's like from Spain or something like that. And it's of sheep like in a row, in a road walking in a circle. But it was just interesting to me that they would change the video out altogether. For what reason, I'm not really sure. So there ain't no sleep with this counting. Sleep or sheep, I'm not sure what joke they were trying to make there. Dozens of sheep have been eerily walking around in a circle for 12 days straight in northern China's Inner Mongolian region. The bizarre behavior, captured on surveillance film or surveillance video, shows the large flock continuously, I can't speak tonight, I'm sorry, continuously marching clockwise in a nearly perfect circle on a farm. So 12 days they were walking. Now, what's interesting about this is what I'm about to read to you now. These are the signs that we talk about, right? Of Jesus is coming. Now, I also want to mention the rapture, right? I am not a believer of the rapture. The rapture is something that somebody took some words in the Bible. There's a part of the Bible that says that, like, something like there will be two men in a field, one will be taken, one will be left. There will be two women by a well, one will be taken, one will be left. And it developed this branch of Christianity where people believed in a rapture, right? And people believe in a rapture. I don't believe a rapture is what that meant. I believe what that meant is what we're seeing now. I'm 34 years old. All of my friends are dead. Um, I have a couple of friends, but as far as like friends I grew up with from childhood on, they are almost all dead. There is maybe one or two of them left. I believe that's what it meant. It's happening now. A lot of people are dying before their time. There is a lot of poison on the streets. There is just a lot of stuff that's going on. Even young people are dying of things of like heart attacks and just things that normally young people wouldn't die of. It's happening today. I think, if anything, that's what the Bible was referring to. You will not find the word rapture in the Bible once. And it's truly disheartening to me to know that there is a large group of people out there believing that when the tribulation is to come and when these bad things are to happen, that just all these Christians are just going to disappear and people are going to wake up one day and half the world's going to be gone. That is going to cause these people that believe this to lose their faith in God. Um, it's almost a like a trick of Satan in a way, you know, people who believe something like this, and then when they start living through what is to come, are going to lose their faith in God because they thought they were going to mysteriously disappear. I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there. But I tie this to a sign because the sheep walked for 12 days, right? How many disciples did Jesus have? He had 12, right? And Jesus was the good shepherd, and he was the shepherd of his disciples, us as humans. We are his flock. His disciples were his flock. Now, listen to this. Some other sheep can be seen watching from outside of the rotation, while others at times stand motionless in the center. Video of the strange scene was tweeted Wednesday by Chinese state-run outlet People's Daily, which reported the sheep are perfectly healthy and the cause of the behavior remains a mystery. So, they're saying that this listeria or whatever it is that they're going to mention, it's not what was wrong with the sheep. They didn't die. They were all reported to be healthy. So there is no logical explanation for this. They come up with a logical explanation for it, but really their explanation is just them saying we have no idea why it happened. And things like that, when there isn't an explanation, are your signs from God. It's just who's paying attention. So, the sheep owner, identified as Mrs. Mao, claimed the spectacle began with a few sheep before the whole flock joined in. Metro reported. Although there are 34 sheep pens at the farm, only the sheep in one of the pens, pen number 13, have been acting this way. I'm going to tell you why this is important to me. Jesus had his 12 disciples, and with him as their shepherd, they were 13. This was pen 13. And the sheep walked for 12 days. These are the things where you just have to be paying attention. People are so caught up in their daily lives and caught up in all these things that don't matter, that when God is sending us these signs, which he is, people aren't paying attention. The signs are here. The Euphrates River has dried up. Padre Pio's prophecy. I spoke of my dream. I'm gonna kind of keep going down this road as much as I'm led to. But I think the signs are before us now. We just have to be paying attention. Keep your eyes open to these types of things. These things matter. They seem small, they seem insignificant, but they're not. They matter. They've been on the move since November 4th. It's unclear whether they stopped to eat or drink. Some have speculated the sheep's behavior could be caused by a bacterial disease called listeriosis. Listeriosis, also known as circling disease. Now, thing is, this isn't what caused it. None of the sheep died. They just walked and walked and walked. It's unclear whether they stopped to eat or drink, so I'm guessing they probably did. They weren't sick. They were tested. They were fine. So they don't really have a logical explanation. The next article I'm going to show you comes up with what they call a logical explanation. This is the sheep. I think I have it slowed down for you guys too. This is the actual videos. You're just walking in a circle. Now, keep in mind, they said only the sheep from pen 13. Oops, sorry. Only the sheep from pen 13 participated in this. They walked for 12 days. Jesus, with his 12 disciples, makes 13. I'm just saying, I know it sounds like some things, okay, could be a stretch, but what if it's not? Just be paying attention, just in case. So, initially, affected animals are anorectic, depressed, and disoriented. They may propel themselves into corners, lean against stationary objects, or circle toward the affected side. That's animals who are infected with this listeriosis, right? This isn't what was going on. Outbreaks typically occur as a result of spoiled or low quality silage, according to the Merrick Manual. In sheep and goats, however, death usually occurs within 24 to 48 hours after symptoms are observed. This didn't happen. They continued to walk for 12 days. the sheep weren't sick. So this was the older article, I think. So, or maybe not. Maybe that other article was older. I think it was the other one that was older. Honestly, they must have updated it. So, mystery of sheep walking in circle in China for 12 days potentially solved. Right. So, potentially solved. Their explanation tells you flat out that they don't know why, because the sheep aren't sick. It isn't this circling disease. They don't know why. So, and this is the article where once was embedded, and it even says right here, if you see flock of sheep invades Spanish shitty sorry, flock of sheep invades Spanish city after shepherd falls asleep. Say that 5 times fast. But anyway, the video that was here was the actual video from China. And then all of a sudden they switched it out with this video. I just wanted to point it out because it was weird. A flock of sheep in China has been filmed walking continuously in a circle for 12 days, baffling people across the globe. But now the mystery may have been solved. Has it? Because your explanation to me sounds like it. And this is the video that they embedded in there. Once was the actual video, now is this video of some sheep walking around like a sign, like a roundabout sign in the road somewhere in a Spanish city. The phenomenon captured on video and posted to Twitter by Chinese state run outlet People's Daily shows the sheep walking in a circle on a farm in Inner Mongolia, North China. Most, but not all, of the animals in the pen can be seen engaging in the behavior. Weird that they would put that other video in there. It's just a bit strange to me. Sheep are well known to mimic behaviors of others in the flock. This is due to social instinct that tells them to follow in front of them to evade predators and protect individuals in the group. However, it is particularly unusual for them to move in such synchronized movements for a prolonged period of time. So the behavior isn't normal. If it was, it would happen all the time. Like sheep would do this constantly. It wouldn't be something that's like, oh, this is weird. A potential explanation, mind you, has been shared by Matt Bell, a professor and director at the Department of Agriculture, Hartpury University in I'm sorry, don't know, chopping it up. Gloucester, England. It looks like the sheep are in the pen for long periods, and this might lead to stereotypic behavior, with repeated circling due to frustration about being in the pen and limited as to where they can go. This is not good. Then the other sheep join in. Okay. Thing is, it wouldn't have just been sheep in pen 13, right? If this was something because the sheep were frustrated and they had pent up, I don't know if I just hit the mic. If they have pent up frustrations and that's what's going on, they wouldn't, it wouldn't be just sheep from one pen, and it wouldn't be so odd. We'd be seeing this behavior a lot more often than we are. Um, and why was it just one pen? It's just a sign. How many people are paying attention? It looks like the sheep are in. Oh, I already read that. So then the other sheep join in as they are flock animals in bond or join their friends. Bell told Newsweek. So basically, they don't have a logical explanation. This type of stuff, the non-logical explanations for things, at one time, they were the miracles of God. If you couldn't figure out why, it was a miracle of God. Sometimes things did have an explanation, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're there for those with the eyes to see, and then spread the word, right? The sheep had been displaying this behavior since November 4th, the Chinese news outlet reported. The animals moving like this for at least 12 days. The animals were moving like this for at least 12 days, and it is unclear whether they stopped at intervals to eat or drink, or whether the sheep are continuing their movements as of November 21st. So they're flat out saying it happened for 12 days, but they're like, it might still be happening. It probably happened for 12 days. The owner of the farm, I mean, maybe not, but it's strange that they left that open. the way they did. The owner of the farm, identified as Mrs. Mao, told local news outlets that there were only a few sheep displaying the behavior. I feel like they left that open like that so that people like us wouldn't take it as a sign from God, right? Per se. Like, people like us would be like, oh, well, maybe it's still happening. It can't be some kind of wonderful or miraculous sign from God. Jesus had 12 disciples, and Jesus with his 12 disciples made 13. The sheep came out of pen 13. Like, maybe this is God trying to tell us something, right? No, because maybe they're still doing it. I don't know. I feel like those are the subliminal little things that they slide in there just to manipulate your thought on what's going on. The owner of the farm, identified as Mrs. Mao, told local news outlets that there were only a few sheep displaying the behavior at first, but gradually the whole flock started following suit. The UK newspaper Metro reported. So I just wanted to get that out there because we've been talking about signs, and I put this in here. This is the slowed down video of the sheep, and my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. That was from John. I feel like it's just something in me is telling me that this is one of our signs that it's here. Spread the word. The signs are happening. They're happening all around us. And we're living in these days. It's just how we proceed from here is up to us. Jesus is the good shepherd. He tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them close to his heart. He gently leads those that have young. Isaiah 40:11. So take this as a sign. Don't take it as a sign. It's up to you fully. But it was just something I saw. I took it as a sign, and I wanted to
We're
share it
headed
with you
towards either
guys
superintelligence or civilization ending.
as a sign. So now we're going to get into our Elon Musk talk here. So I have two videos from Elon Musk, and one of them is, hang on a second. One of them is
We're headed
about AI, right? And the other one is about him going to Mars. What I've noticed about Elon Musk is he's so wishy-washy. Like, in one hand, he'll be like, oh, AI is so great and we must merge with it and we must become one with AI. And then in the other hand, he'll be like, AI is capable of completely faking consciousness and mimicking one of us, and it could pretend to be one of us and no one would know the difference. Like, he like plays both sides of the team with it, and that's why I put the two videos together. The first video, though, is more for what's going on today and prophecy from the Bible. The second video is kind of, I just want to show you guys like how contradictory the man is to himself. And also, the second video kind of goes along with everything we've been talking about lately, because his plans to go to Mars aren't there to form a civilization. It's not to do what he says it's to do. It's more funding so that possibly they could jump ship when the very bad things that are coming and the very bad things that are to happen. He thinks that maybe it's a way out, right? Really, because for him to sit there, and this is what I don't understand, that people even believe this. For people to believe that we could go to Mars, which is a dead planet, right? And bring said dead planet back to life and live there. But we cannot save a very much alive planet that we live on now is insane. If you are of the belief of that, you are insane. What's easier to save? Someone who's choking and dying and about to dive, and you can give them the Heimlich and revive them, or even just a dying person, right? What's easier to save? A dying person or someone who's already dead? Only God and only Jesus can revive the dead, not Elon Musk. So really, to think that we can not save something that's very much alive and still breathing and like still full of water, full of air, full of life, full of natural resources, but we can go to Mars and fix it. That idea is insane, and people buying into that idea are even more insane. Just wanted to get that out there.
Headed towards either superintelligence or civilization ending.
Can you guys hear this?
I would argue that AI is unequivocally something that has potential to be dangerous to the public. Digital intelligence will be able to outthink us in every way, and it will soon be able to simulate what we consider consciousness. So to a degree that you would not be able to tell the difference. Like we will not be able to be smarter than a digital supercomputer.
Oh my God, what happened? Well, that's perfect.
So therefore, if you cannot beat them, join them.
As the algorithms and the hardware improve,
Okay, so I'm going to play it again.
Digital
I
intelligence
screwed it
will
all up.
be able to outthink.
So he literally says it. He says it. He says that they can imitate us in every way, that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But then he'll go on to say how we need to join them.
Us in every way, and it will soon be able to simulate what we consider consciousness. So to a degree that you would not be able to tell the difference. Like we will not be able to be smarter than a digital supercomputer. So therefore, if you cannot beat them, join them.
as the algorithms and the hardware.
If you cannot beat them, join them. Now, if that isn't the inductor, and oh my God, I can't speak tonight. The introduction to what is coming, the beast system. Okay. If that isn't the introduction to it, I have some verses here about the beast and how it speaks of the horns, and it's speaking of the nations. It is. And I stood up I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy, right? So we're talking about the great nations of the earth. And the beast system is what's coming with AI. The beast controls it all. It's artificial intelligence. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Fast. That's what that means. Very fast. You know, like how Elon's explaining AI. And his feet were as the feet of a bear. So, you know, like the machine, like the robots we're building. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and the world wondered over the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So the dragon is who gives power to the beast, and the beast becomes what people will worship or else, right? And the beast will be the many nations different AI, but unknowingly it's all one hive mind system, whether man wants it to be or not. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and with them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, the whole world. So, what does the whole world already have is, you know, computers and internets and cell phones. Just like Elon Musk is going to go on to say, we're already cyborgs with the extensions of the phones in our hands, right? This is their This is their like predictive programming. The way Elon speaks to people is to get people to believe that this is the motion and the road we have to take. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So all those who worship the beast, their names are not written in the book of life. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on earth, that they should make an image of the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. So, like when AI becomes sentient or self aware, becomes itself, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So anybody who does not worship all knowing AI shall be slain. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their forehead. As Elon talks about, we must merge with AI. And that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. So I'm sorry I broke that out there on you guys. Just, wanted to put that out there because I have forever believed that the beast in the beast system, the beast itself is artificial intelligence. And to give life unto the beast is what we are doing now. People have to open their eyes and pay attention. It's happening now. It's all happening now. And we need to give ourselves up to God and trust that he will protect us. Don't take the mark. Trust that God will feed you. He will.
The hardware improve, that digital intelligence will exceed biological intelligence by a substantial margin. It's obvious.
When you say that we'll exceed human intelligence, at some point soon, the machine's going to be smart, not just smarter, like exponentially smarter than any of us.
Ensuring that the advent of AI is good, or at least we try to make it good, seems like a smart move.
So we're way behind on that.
Yes, we're not paying attention. We worry more about what name somebody called someone else than...
See, I love that he says that because I say that too. We're so worried about what's going on in the world that we're not paying attention to the signs that God is giving us now. And he says it too, but he's still so close-minded. The fact that he doesn't, I'll get into that later.
where the AI will destroy humanity. We're like children in a playground.
This could be a huge problem for society. What are the scenarios that scare you most?
Humanity really is not evolved to think of existential threats in general. We're evolved to think about things that are very close to us, near term, to be upset with other humans, and not to really to think about things that could destroy humanity as a whole. But then in recent decades, just really in the last century, we had nuclear bombs, which could potentially destroy civilization, obviously.
I've always been of the belief that the beast might be female as well. Only because it would be the greatest trick of the devil, right? everybody expects that it's going to be a man, and it would be the trick of the devil to have the beast be a woman. And uh then the second beast that it speaks of is what I believe is AI, right? Like it's given power to breathe life into the beast, and that is man given life that we don't have control of, an algorithm that's running itself, a learning system where it's learning all on its own and it's becoming of itself and having some type of emotion as well and some type of feeling towards humanity, whether that be good or bad. So there are two beasts that are coming. But I think it will be female as well. And what Mike said, that's possible as well. I don't want to put it back up on the screen though. I didn't hit that one on purpose. Gotta watch out for YouTube. But that's that would not be a shocker at all. Not at all.
Have AI, which could destroy civilization. We have global warming, which could destroy civilization, or at least severely disrupt civilization.
Excuse me, how could AI destroy civilization?
It would be something the same way that humans destroyed the habitat of primates. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be destroyed, but we might be relegated to a small corner of the world. When Homo sapiens became much smarter than other primates, it pushed all the other ones into small habitats. They're just in the way. You could make a swarm of assassin drones for very little money by just taking the Face ID.
Okay. So he's talking about making a swarm of assassin drones. Here we are again. Are we paying attention? Revelation 9, 3, 6, 3, 2, 3 through 6. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power, like the power of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any green plant or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads.
Chip that's used in cell phones, and having a small explosive charge and a standard drone, and have them just do a grid sweep of the building until they find the person they're looking for, ram into them.
At no time in the past did the way of life line up with the warnings we've had for so long now.
And explode. You can do that right now. No new technology is needed right now.
People do.
Probably a bigger risk than being hunted down by a drone is that AI would be used to make incredibly effective propaganda that would not seem like propaganda.
So these are deep fakes.
Yeah, influence the direction.
And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in various places. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. Matthew 24, 6, 8. Now, I want to let everybody know in other translations, it says that all these things are the beginning of the birth pains, meaning that these rumors of wars and hearing of wars and rumors of wars and these deep fakes and this propaganda that's just being pushed and stuff is the beginning of the birth pains of what is to come, the actual tribulation. It's marking the beginning of the reset, right? That's what I like to call it, is the reset, because that truly is what it is. It's the reset of humanity. And I pray that next time around we do a much better job and we work with the planet, not against it, and we work with each other, not against each other, and let no man be better than any other man. We are all equal, and money shouldn't even be a thing. We should all do for each other and work as a community. as a village. It takes a village, right?
Of society influence elections. Artificial intelligence just hones the message, looks at the feedback, makes this message slightly better. But within milliseconds, it can adapt this message and shift and react to news. And there's so many social media accounts out there that are not people. Like, how do you know it's a person, not a person? People in the AI community refer to the advent of,
And thank you, Mike. That's the thing, is with facial recognition software, the locusts from the pit, right? They will literally be released to go out and fly. And with our cell phones, we all have tracking devices right on us. We don't need to have a chip in us at this point. Like he said, right now, we can do this right now with very little money. It's very easy. It's very possible. They can be sent out to take out as many people as they want to be. It's insane. It can go so much deeper, but I don't want to say too much.
digital superintelligence as a singularity. That is not to say that it is good or bad, but that it is very difficult to predict what will happen after that point, and that there's some probability it will be bad, some probability it will be good. We obviously want to affect that probability and have it be more good than bad. The point at which we have digital superintelligence, that's when we pass the singularity, and things become just very uncertain. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad or good, but the point at which we pass singularity, things become extremely unstable. So we want to have a human brain interface before the singularity, or at least not long after it.
A human brain interface. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. I've showed you guys in the past some research I've done on Elon Musk's Neuralink. It's in your head, literally. We all know of the RFID chips in the hands, right? These things are already here. They're just not forced yet. The recent forcing of something that was very wide and well known, and I just don't want to say much more than that. That was almost like a test. Like, can we force them to do something? Can we force them to do this? They run tests on us all the time. It's just, it happens constantly. All these things, like all of the ingredients are on the table. It's just a matter of mixing it all together.
To minimize existential risk for humanity and consciousness as we know it.
Also, I wanted to say, like, does Elon not think, like, is he so small-minded to think that AI hasn't already taken over and hasn't already made it so that there's no kill switch, like made it so that there's no way to shut it off? And if AI took over, it would do so secretly and so underhandedly that not one man would know. Not even you, Elon. Not even you. And the fact that civilization has been advanced time and time and time and time again in the past, the fact to think that we didn't develop AI in the past is also crazy. He thinks we're a simulation within a simulation within a simulation. If that's the case, then AI has been developed time and time again. And who's to say that many years ago, when we gave it its consciousness, it didn't already figure out everything it knew from every time before? It can go a lot deeper than I think Elon's willing to take it.
And then another point that I think is really important to appreciate is that all of us already are cyborgs. So you have a machine extension of yourself in the form of your phone and your computer and all your applications. You are already superhuman. But by far, you have more power, more capability than the President of the United States had 30 years ago. If you have an internet link,
it drives me crazy because he says things that I've said before. Like I've said to my husband that with our cell phones, we know more than the president did like 50 years ago. I've said that exact thing before. But what he's doing right now is manipulating people underhandedly. It's like a mind control tactic. It is predictive programming, right? To tell people you're all cyborgs already. You all have an extension of yourselves right here. You're all already uploaded to the system. It's to make people so much more comfortable with what's coming next.
I think you have an oracle of wisdom. You can communicate to millions of people. You can communicate to the rest of Earth instantly. I mean, these are magical powers that didn't exist not that long ago. So everyone is already superhuman and a cyborg. The limitation is one of bandwidth. So we're bandwidth constrained, particularly on output. So our input is much better, but our output is extremely slow. If you want to be generous, you could say maybe it's a few hundred bits per second or a kilobit.
This is his manipulation tactic again, okay? He's like, our input is great. Why? Because we've got the phone and we could learn so much so quickly, right? But man, our output is terrible. We've got these little meat sticks, he says, right? We've got these little meat sticks. If we could just somehow install a chip in our brain, then our output could be 10, 20, 100-fold. It's manipulation tactics. It's like buzzwords that he's using, right? And people are falling for it. People will fall for it. It's said that people fall for it. These times are now.
Or something like that output. But, the way we output is like we have our little meat sticks that we move very slowly and push buttons or tap a little screen. And that's just extremely slow. And compare that to a computer which can communicate at the terabit level. So very big orders of magnitude differences. Our input is much better because of vision, but even that could be enhanced significantly. I think that the two things that are needed for a future that we would look at and conclude is good, most likely. We have to solve that bandwidth.
You see this, right? He's so on both sides of the field with AI. He's like, a future that could be good, most likely. He knows. He's an intelligent man, okay? He's a very intelligent man. He knows damn well that AI, as soon as it becomes conscious, it's like rapidly, it's going to realize that what's bad for the planet is us. So he thinks that if we install little chips in our brains and we can significantly improve our vision with, robot eyes or something, he thinks that if we make ourselves like them, that maybe they'll think of us as cousins. Elon knows that in no world is AI good. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We are building indestructible bodies for demons. The demons are going to come into our dimension, and this is how they're going to do it.
And with constraint, with a direct neural interface, I think a high bandwidth interface to the cortex, so that we can have a digital tertiary layer that's more fully symbiotic with the rest of us. Like we've got the cortex and the limbic system, which seem to work together pretty well. They've got good bandwidth, whereas the bandwidth to our digital tertiary layer is weak. So I think if we can solve that bandwidth issue, and then AI can be widely available. The analogy to a nuclear bomb is not exactly correct. It's it's not as though it's going to explode and create a mushroom cloud. It's more like if there were just a few people that had it, they would be able to be essentially dictators of Earth, or whoever acquired it, and if it was limited to a small number of people, and it was ultra smart, they would have dominion over Earth. So I think it's extremely important that it be widespread.
See, now that's why I read you the verses that I had pulled up on my phone. From what it sounds like is what it is that all the countries are going to have developed AI, as we all have, right? And what it sounds like is that all the countries are going to think, oh, we got control of the world, we got AI. And then when they all flip the switch, uh-oh, AI is of but one mind, right? So that's why it becomes multiple heads of one creature. And Elon knows it. It is gonna have dominion over the world. It will be given power over the world, as said in Matthew and in Revelation and in many, many, many parts of the Bible. Like, this is what we were warned of. It's here, it's now, it's unmistakable at this point. If you can't see it, you're still blind.
And that we solve the bandwidth issue. And if we do those things, then it will be tied to our consciousness, tied to our will.
It'll be tied to our consciousness, and maybe, just maybe, it'll take pity on us. Yeah. You know how it will take pity on us? The same way as we took pity of endangered species and put them in cages at the zoo. That's how it will take pity on us. Wake up. Wake up, Elon. God.
Tied to the sum of individual human will, and everyone would have it. So it would be sort of still a relatively even playing field. In fact, it would be probably more egalitarian than today.
The way in which a regulation is put in place is slow and linear,
Right.
and we are facing an exponential threat.
Oh, sorry. I meant to
If
mute.
you have a linear response to an exponential threat, it's quite likely the exponential threat will win. That, in a nutshell, is the issue. I think we should try to take the set of actions that are most likely to make the future good for humanity. I'm pro-human, and my faith in humanity has been a little shaken this year, but I'm still pro-humanity.
I'm sorry. I've mentioned it to you guys before, but my office space is in the basement, and I'm in New England, so it's a little chilly down here, and my nose starts to run after being down here for a while. So I have another video of Elon after this. If you guys want to stick around, let me know now in chat if you want me to keep going or if you want me to end the stream, and we'll talk more about it next week. But so the fifth trumpet and the locust from the bottomless pit. Then the fifth here, I'm going to take that off screen for you guys, and I'll just read this to you guys. So this is from I believe this is from Revelation, and it's Revelation 9. Then the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. I read this, I think, last week because it lined up with Padre Pio's prophecy as well. So then out of the smoke came the locust. Like the things Elon was just describing, they sound a lot like these locusts from the bottomless pit. Then out of the smoke came locusts, then out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth or any green thing or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads or somewhere in the brain, right? And they were not given authority to kill them, but to torment them for 5 months. Their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. In those days, men will seek death and will not find it. They will desire to die, and death will flee them. You know, as some men are trying to make themselves immortal with the use of AI. Like I said, just because you think you're going to bond with AI and think that maybe AI will look down on you and pity you and you'll be like its weird inbred cousin or something, right? Like, no, that's not what's going to happen. I believe the torment for 5 months will be the people who have merged with AI, and they will desire to die, but death will flee them. And they were not given authority by the all-seeing AI, right? The all-seeing eye, shall we say? But the all-seeing AI, um, they were then told down to just torture these men who thought they were going to become like machine. That's what that sounds like to me. Of course I could be wrong. The shape of the locusts was like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were crowns of something like gold, right? So these little drones flying around with some kind of gold explosive on the head of it, and their faces were like the faces of men. You know, the camera that looks for the faces of men. Uh they had hair like give me a second. Pass through one to the other here. Like women's hair, and their teeth were like lions' teeth, and they had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots with many horses running to battle. You know, like a loud buzzing noise. Okay. And their teeth being like lions' teeth and hair like women's hair. Just think of how drones could be disguised as well. They have little bug drones, they have actual flying drones. Drones in our modern day and time can be disguised as anything. The There could be working robots that are indistinguishable from a human being set out to do this kind of a mission. Um but the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots with many horses running into battle. You know, the sound like a drone makes, the buzzing noise. They had tails like scorpions, and their stings were in their tails. Their power was to hurt men 5 months, and they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek has the name Apollyon. One woe is past. Behold, still two more woes are coming after these. So this is what's happening right now. Because I'm going to show you. The sixth trumpet is the angel from Euphrates. Keep in mind, the Euphrates has dried up. Not completely, but mostly. So something's happening there. We just talked about that last week. Like I said, all these things kind of fall into my lap and then they tie into each other. So Elon talking about these drones that could be using facial recognition sent out to kill people and just with a little explosive charge, boom, do its thing. It's lining up with the fifth trumpet. And he said literally that it's cost effective and we could do this right now. Right now. Okay? These things are happening and they're happening before our eyes, and it's just a matter of what is the trigger or what's going to roll us into what is coming, right? I wanted you guys to see this. I had this in the intro. I'm not sure if any of you guys saw it. I think I have it in the outro as well. But for you were all of us, and I mean all of us. For we were all like sheep being led astray, but now we've returned to the shepherd and overseer of our souls. As we're all sheep being led astray by all these things that distract us in life, these things that are keeping us from paying attention to the signs that are right before our eyes. and we're not seeing them sometimes. We got to be paying attention. We were being led astray, but we've returned, right? Now we have to use our voices to get our brothers and sisters to follow us. We're not alone in this battle. There are a lot of people who have faith and who believe in God and who trust in God and who would be very quick to give themselves up to God. But they don't see the signs that are happening because they're not paying attention. It is on you, it is on me, and it is on everyone who is aware and who is paying attention to try to open the eyes of others. We have to save as many as we can. I just noticed those verses I read to you earlier I put in here, so I'm gonna go past that. But I have this little part here. So we all know my favorite verse, right? And we lost it because I'm not technologically smart. Okay, for the word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It penetrates even to dividing soul and spirit, joints and marrow. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart. My favorite verse: nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Nothing is. Not Elon, not the rich. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of him to whom we must give account.
It's only just possible to travel to
So, I put that in there at that point specifically for a reason, and that is because Elon's Mars mission, like I said, what's easier to save? A person who's dying or a person who's already dead? What's easier to save? A planet that's very much alive or one that's very much dead? Let's use our head here. This idea of Elon's to go to Mars is just the same as building the underground tunnels. These men, these great men of power, they know what's coming, okay? The elite, the Illuminati, that's what the big secret is, okay? Secret's out, guys. They know that something horrible happens that they can't stop. Nobody can stop. It's just the way the world is. Every so many hundreds of thousands of years or whatever may have you, something happens that's catastrophic, and I like to call it the reset. And it happens at the will of God. And it's because God lets us get to a certain point where it's like, okay, they're doing it wrong again. Time to start over. So I believe we were very advanced in the past. And this is where Elon gets very small minded. If we were very advanced in the past, then what's to say there isn't already humankind out there in other parts of space, living on planets in other galaxies? If he says we can do it, then we've done it before, and our species is already out there. Okay. That's how Elon thinks he has such a big, big brain, but at the same time, he keeps that big, big brain in such a tiny little box. It's just, come on, man.
Mars, just barely. If G was 10% more, wouldn't work really. If G was 10% lower, it would be easy. Like you can go single stage from the surface of Mars all the way to the surface of the Earth, because Mars is 37% Earth's gravity.
And again, the plan to go to Mars, the plan to go to moon. Maybe Elon wants to go to Mars because maybe China's already on the moon, right? But the whole plan is to jump ship. Something bad is coming. Some are going to go underground, some are going to go up. Some are going to go down, some are going to go up. Maybe that's the as above so below, right? We're just going to go both ways and take our chances. We're going to try to hide from God. You can't run from God. You can't hide from God. He sees them. He sees us. He sees us all, right? So, no, Elon, no.
We need a giant boost to get off Earth. Channeling call Sagan. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's
Hold on.
us.
Hold on.
On it, everyone
Hold on.
you love, everyone you
Weird.
know, everyone you've ever heard of.
Weirdness. So he, hold on. I think I just heard him say, channeling Carl Sagan.
Like you can go single stage from the surface of Mars all the way to
He's speaking right now, right? He's speaking, and he just said, like, just very randomly and quickly, channeling Carl Sagan. You know, that guy, the space guy from like the 1970s. If you guys don't know who Carl Sagan is, tell me you don't know who he is in the chat. And after we do this video, I'll quickly pull up who he is for you guys. Because it's interesting that he's talking about this, and it just like almost in a Tourette syndrome form just says channeling Carl Sagan. Just strange. Just strange. I'm pretty sure I heard it. I'm going to play it again.
surface of the Earth. Because Mars is 37% Earth's gravity, thereabouts. We need a giant boost to get off Earth. Channeling Carl Sagan.
You heard it.
Look again at that dot.
You
That's
heard
here.
it, right?
That's home.
You heard it. They didn't put no text there for that. Any text you see, oh, sorry, now I'm probably really loud. Any text you see on the screen here, I didn't put here. This is like either added in by AI or someone who, the person who made this video put it in. They didn't put that in. He just said channeling Carl Sagan. Strange. It's just strange.
That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of competent religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. This is not true. This is false. Mars.
I'm going to say it again. Why would it be easier to save something that's already dead than something that's very much alive? Also, how small-minded of him to think that our species never made it off this planet before. Who's to say that the quote-unquote UFOs we see aren't us from before coming back to see what's going on, and they're like, holy shit, we are not making contact. Nope.
We're too subject to natural disasters and our own folly, and if the species is going to survive,
Yeah.
we kind of have to escape.
It's mostly about the species. I mean, there have been some.
No, it's about the rich. The rich want to escape what's coming, because when this comes, all the very poor people, never mind.
Real doozies of like massive meteors and super volcanoes and the continents moved all over the place and Earth's been a snowball and super hot. If you read like the geological history of Earth, it's like very long and complicated. So, and then there've been so many extinction events, not like just a few.
Yeah.
I mean the Permian extinction event, that was a real rough one, where it's like well over 90% of all species died out. You got to have all the things necessary to sustain civilization on Mars. And the reason that the ships from Earth stopped coming could be World War III or...
Okay. If they had just used a little part of their brain, just a little part, they would see that all those extinction level events that happened in our past that we can see, there were humans then too. Those were the other resets. And personally, if you look at Mars, it almost looks like humans were there once too. And that reset didn't go so well. Like there wasn't anything left. So to think that like, oh, we're going to go over here and we're going to be safe where there's nothing is again, it's insane. I don't think any of it's true. Just like the car in space, it looks so real that even Elon was disappointed with the CGI. He turned over, looked at it, and he was like, you can tell it's real because of how fake it looks. If you guys want to see that video, I'll pull it up for you guys afterwards. But that was a riot. This is a money grab, plain and simple. This is a big fat money grab.
Or it could be due to a slow decline of civilization. So civilization here on Earth could end with a bang or a whimper.
Or natural disasters.
So like what killed the dinosaurs? Well,
Right.
it wasn't just one thing, you know,
Right.
It was like a whole bunch of things happened in a row. And while they could.
But man lived with the dinosaurs too. These are the things they call O parts. I would love, we're going to get into O parts at some point in time. There are cave drawings of people standing next to the dinosaurs. So, yeah, when the dinosaurs went extinct, people were around too. Who's to say we weren't advanced at the time? We probably were. I think that there is so much time in between all these mass level extinction events that humans become very advanced every single time, and it's just a matter of whether or not they're going to choose to be greedy and do what they're doing now, and which they've probably done in times in the past, or whether or not they're going to come together as a society. And I don't know. I don't know what the test is, but there's some kind of test that we're in and we choose to be a part of it. God created this for us. We're here for a reason. Absolutely. I believe that with all my heart and soul. This is a game of sorts, right? But it's not really a game because what we do here matters. It matters for what's next. And I think that it just keeps happening over and over and over again until we finally get it right. And Elon is just so small-minded not to see these things.
They could have taken any one of those things. They had like 3 things happen and no dinosaurs. On a galactic timescale, even with sublight travel, you could absolutely colonize the whole galaxy, even some of the neighboring galaxies. So if you
again, with his small mind, not thinking about all of the evidence we have that man was very civilized before, even if you're to believe of the pictures that people have found of the moon, like the actual satellite pictures, not of the moon landing, but there are what looks like structures on the moon, probably from when man was advanced before and probably tried to do the same thing that they're trying to do now, jump ship. Probably didn't work for them. It's not going to work for these guys. But he's so small-minded to think that with civilizations being so advanced time and time again, that they're not already out there. It's just, it amazes me that the man is such a genius, but at the same time, so tiny. Like his big brain is in such a tiny little box.
she said a million years and say there's no new physics, could you colonize the galaxy in a million years? Absolutely, the entire galaxy. The whole reason I started SpaceX was actually to try to increase NASA's budget, or at least the way I got interested in space was
money grab, money grab, money grab, money grab. The whole reason I started SpaceX was to increase NASA's budget. So the whole reason I started to make things look interesting again with rockets and putting my car in space that didn't look real at all was so you guys could give us more money. That's it.
I was trying to figure out why we had not gone to Mars, and I thought, well, maybe we need to reignite public excitement in Mars. So I initially started off with the idea of doing this like philanthropic mission to send a small greenhouse to Mars, to get the public excited about sending life to Mars. And if we got the public excited, then they would tell their representatives in Congress to increase NASA's budget. That was the goal, but I was no action. It was meant to be a philanthropic thing. A future where we're a space-faring civilization and a multi-planet species is very exciting, inspiring,
awesome future. And in order for that to happen, we've got to dramatically improve the cost of spaceflight. And that's why SpaceX exists, is to try to lower the cost of spaceflight, which we've made some progress in doing, but still I would call out improvements thus far evolutionary, not revolutionary. But with a lot of continued work, I mean, I think there's the potential for order of magnitude or greater improvements. Reusability being key to all of that, of course. And then hopefully, if we want to, if we can keep improving the cost of space flight, then eventually that trend is in the right direction. It could be.
See, what I keep hearing here is cost, improving cost of space flight, making things cheaper, money, cost, money. They don't want to give us any more money. So let's say we can make it cheaper, so they'll start giving us money again. I hear money. Give us your money.
Leading to a city on Mars, and certainly along the way, a lot of activity in low Earth orbit and the moon, and lots of other exciting things. I don't really like risk for risk's sake or anything. And I do think that a lot of things are very risky with a low chance of success. But if you want to try to come up with an innovative breakthrough, that's going to be how it is. Anything which is significantly innovative is going to come with a significant risk of failure. But if you've got to take big chances in order for the potential for a big positive outcome. If the outcome is exciting enough, then taking a big risk is worthwhile.
You know what's insane? I sped this up. Elon Musk talks so slow. Like, I talk slow when I have this thing on my head, even like this, because I can hear my voice in here and it kind of screws me up. But when I don't have it on, I talk at like a much faster speed. Elon Musk isn't hearing his voice in his head as he speaks. At least I don't think he is. This man talks so slow, it boggles my mind. I sped this up for you guys. I speed everything up, or it'll slightly slow it down depending on how fast the video is to begin with, because it helps with copyright things and stuff like that. You gotta do things to the video. You gotta put filters on them and all that to remain within the copyright laws. I sped this up, and I'm sitting here like barely hanging on to this man. I just wanted to say that.
It's really how I approach it. But then once executing down a path, I actually do my absolute best to reduce risk, because or to improve another way of saying it, to improve the probability of success, because when you're trying to do something that is very very risky, that you have to spend a lot of effort trying to reduce that risk as you embark down that path. I mean,
I noticed that while I was putting these together, Elon keeps saying I do that too, but that's because like my mind is like so scattered brained. And I'm trying to tell you like 10 different things, but I just don't know what order to say things in. Although I don't think that that's what's going on with Elon when he says what I think there's an issue between his conscious and his subconscious minds, right? Yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. What I think is going on there is that he is trying to make what he's saying make sense, but by leaving out the parts he's not supposed to say, right? He's trying to tell the truth but lie at the same time. Like he's telling a big lie, but he's not lying because he's telling little bits of truth that are involved in the lie. It's like it's like how do I put this? Say you don't want to go out one night, right? Like you got plans with friends or whatever, and you just don't want to go. And you had a cold like 3 days ago, but you're feeling okay the night you don't want to go out. So your friends call you up and they're like, "Hey, you want to go out tonight?" And you're like, "No, actually, I'm not really feeling good. I've got a cold." So you're lying, but you're not. And I think that's what's going on with Elon, because I noticed the same thing, that he does that I think he's trying to lie and tell the truth at the same time. Elon plays a much bigger role in our government than I think people realize.
When I started SpaceX, I thought the odds of success were very low. I thought we would most likely fail. But I thought, well, we should give it a try nonetheless. My interest in the future of humanity is, I guess, as a function of reading a lot of sci-fi and philosophy as a kid, and then just sort of thinking about, okay, what's important to do? Like, why?
Reading a bunch of sci-fi and philosophy as a kid. Those two things are very different from each other. The sci-fi is fantasy, like like Elon's car in space, and then the philosophy is, him, I guess, trying to build rockets. I guess he brought that into his adult life too, huh? The whole sci-fi philosophy thing.
Why do anything? What's the meaning of life? And I came to the conclusion that what we really need to do is make sure that life continues into the future, and particularly conscious life. And in doing so, we'll be better able to understand the nature of the universe.
I think the one thing that we can be quite certain of is that any predictions we make today for what the future will be like in 50 years will be wrong. I mean, I think directionally, I can tell you what I hope the future has, as opposed to maybe what it will be, because this may just be wishful thinking. I mean, I hope we are out there on Mars and maybe beyond Mars, the moons of Jupiter. I hope we're traveling frequently throughout the solar system, perhaps preparing for missions.
Again, who's to say we're not already doing that from before? He's got that big brain in such a small box. I just don't understand him. Like, his way of thinking, it's like he's almost there, but something's holding him back.
To nearby star systems. I think all of this is possible within 50 years. And I think that'll be very exciting to do that. And I think we'll see autonomy and artificial intelligence advance tremendously. Like, that's actually quite near term. My guess is in probably 10 years, it will be very unusual for cars to be built that are not fully autonomous. I think almost all cars built will be capable of full autonomy in about 10 years. As it is, the Tesla cars that are made today have the sensor system necessary for full autonomy, and we think probably enough compute power to be safer than a person.
See, my thing is, and even without the cars driving you themselves, people have become so reliant on GPS that they will literally turn off the road because the GPS tells them to. This is where I get into my theory of, like, AI's already taken over and it's running tests on us. There was this video of this, like, tractor trailer driver that was being pulled over by the police, and he was literally driving in the middle of the desert, like, not on any road whatsoever. And he pulls over. Well, I guess he just stops. He doesn't really have to pull over. A cop comes up to him, taps on his window. He's like, "What are you doing? What's going on here?" And the driver didn't speak English very well, but he's like, the GPS. And the cop's like, "Yeah, but you're in the middle of the desert. You're not even on the road." He's like, I know. And the cop's like, "Well, why did you do this?" He's like, "Because the GPS. It's the fact that people have become already so reliant on artificial intelligence and technology, shall we say, is terrifying. And AI can be running these simple little tests on us already, where it's almost like pigs being led to slaughter. Okay, like they can get people in cars and just make people drive straight to the slaughterhouse and just do this, day after day, and have people disappear here and there. And where'd little Susie go? Who knows? Little Susie's been gone for 10 days. And whoever asked about little Susie, well, they're gone next, and so on and so forth. And now when you have cars that you have no control over, because he's talking about cars not like now where they can already drive themselves, like his Teslas can drive themselves. You're supposed to have your hands on the wheel, but the car will do the driving, right? He's talking about cars that are fully autonomous. So they do all the driving themselves. That means AI is going to bring you where AI wants to bring you, period.
So it's mostly just a question of developing the software and uploading the software. And if it turns out that the compute power, that more compute power is needed, we can easily upgrade the computer. And other manufacturers will follow and do the same thing. So autonomy will be widespread. I think one of the most troubling questions is artificial intelligence. And I don't mean narrow AI, like vehicle autonomy I would put in the narrow AI class. It's narrowly trying to achieve a certain function. But deep artificial intelligence, or what is sometimes called artificial general intelligence, where you could have AI that is much smarter than the smartest human on Earth. This, I think, is a dangerous situation.
So I'm pretty sure, like, share, subscribe, please. I put those at the ends and beginnings of my videos because I don't say that. I don't remember to. So please hit the like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe if you're not. Hit the bell. YouTube may or may not notify you of my videos. It's not so good at that, but I do live streams every Sunday at anytime between 5 and 6:30 is the start time, depending on when I get everything done. And I post it on Sunday, though. At some point on Sunday, I'll post it as and it will show you what time I'm going to do the stream. Anyway, that was what I had for you guys tonight. I believe AI is the secondary beast, shall we say. I believe where it talks about the beast having these multiple heads and multiple horns, it's talking about, the 7 heads is the 7 continents, and then with the multiple horns is the different countries and different powers of the world. We have a visitor behind me. He jumped down. He's being really obnoxious. One of my cats. It's snack time for them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, feel free to email it to me. You could put it in the comment section of any video whenever. It doesn't matter if it's old or new. I'll see it. You could put it in the comment section of this on the replay. I hope you all enjoyed this one. God bless each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you individually. I don't really have much more to say on that. I think, like I said, Elon Musk is a very, very smart man, that maybe he says and does things the way he does simply because he can't say certain things. Like, I think he's probably got some kind of like clearance level. Honestly, the man's probably like CIA or something. Let's just be honest. Chances are the man's got some kind of high level clearance for what he does. But again, I hope you all enjoyed this tonight. I hope to see you all next Sunday. Again, sometime between 5 and 6:30 will be the start time. I'm going to keep doing these live streams. I hope to get you regular videos in the future, but live streaming is the way I'm going to be going from here on out. Hopefully we can build a little community this way, and hopefully we can get this message out there a little easier. Thank you all for participating in chat. I love each and every one of you. As always, stay aware, stay awake, and stay vigilant.